I don't know. I'm covering some college shit, Hillsdale College. He looks like a dickhead. So, like, subscribe. Maybe I'll agree with everything. I don't fucking know. I'm not a shit work no more. How identity politics destroys equality.
Today in America, there really is only one unforgivable sin, and that is to deviate from the accepted script when speaking of protected identity groups. It is to say something, whether intentionally or not, that either offends protected identity groups or that the elites find offensive on their behalf. What I think is important to grasp from the outset is that identity politics today is not just the dominant ideology when it comes to civil rights. It's the dominant ideology in America, period. If you look at prominent politicians, professors, producers, pundits, Fortune 500 CEOs, tech gurus, journalists, all of the famous, credentialed, and successful people who comprise our ruling class, they either all affirm the tenets of identity politics, or at the very least are deferential to them. Americans are now divided into favored and disfavored groups, and civil rights law, we are told, should not apply to the favored groups. Identity politics is the...
Oh shit, I would have missed that. This is why you have to be careful when you're listening to this stuff. I'm gonna show you a little trick in what you just heard. You heard that elites band around identity politics, or at the very least, don't support the non-favored groups, right? Don't support, yeah, those were the non-favored groups. So, like, it's not okay to support white people, but it's perfectly fine to support black people and whatever it is they're doing. And the elites, like, go into that. Okay, fine, whatever, you know, whatever. He then followed it up with, sorry, because I just want to be accurate when I'm making these assertions, because I at least owe that to you guys.
Law, we are told, should not apply to the favored groups. Identity politics is demanding that we judge...
Okay, that's the one. Civil rights law should not apply to the non-favored groups, because the act of civility is that commonplace decency could not find a balance between the free market and our society. The civil rights law is saying those who have been unfavored due to the way our society has built up are now deserving of all those rights as recognized by a court of law. And if I can sue you in a court of law, I can get a lot of money out of you. And money is what scares people from doing things, so instead of losing money, I'll just not be racist, at least not in public. As we know, that hasn't stopped anybody thus yet. What I would have missed is that connection leading up to that line. Because civil rights shouldn't be afforded to those who do not need the guarantee of the law in order to have a certain thing back. And I'm going to take the easiest route out for this, the easiest one ever, loans. We all know that there was and still exists a disparity between black Americans and white Americans when asking for loans for houses, for cars, etc. There's a judgment. There was literally a skit about it that I forgot who it was. I forgot the comedian that did it. It's a YouTube guy. But it was Long Beach Griffey. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing here, bro? You're not here to buy this house. You're the janitor. Like, you've seen people on hidden recorded video. You know, I don't like to rent out to that neighborhood. I think you should go, you know, drive around it for 10 minutes, see if you really feel safe parking your car anywhere. Like, that little tiny stuff, to you, it's like, that's just an insensitive remark, but that's built upon years and years of racial prejudice against a group. You've always been lower. You can't think of yourself as higher because on a large scale, we all think of you as beneath us. That's why, like, that type of argument is weird. But what caught me off guard is that what all of that ended up leading up to in him saying is that identity politics shapes civil rights law, which is not fair because you're attaching popularity to actual social change. If it's not popular, then most people don't care about it. Therefore, it must be something worth talking about. That's how these right-wingers try to wrap your head around subjects. The people who are talking the loudest are the wrongest, but they are the wrongest. Yeah, wrongest. The more wrong, the most wrong. Blah blah blah. Whatever. think it's the most wrong. I care about grammar. Yeah, fight me. Fight me. But they have this very intricate model of being the loudest and also calling themselves the minority, as well as dominated by big tech or being silenced by the mainstream media. They're so large, they're the elites, big players or whatever. But then they also call themselves, that was easy. They also call themselves the silent majority. So like, what world? Did that man really come into my chat and say, what did he say? January 6th commission found nothing. Trump 2024. Okay, my brother. Enjoy that long ban. Can't believe you made it. Hey, you gonna hit me with the follow. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Vampire Hunter.
It's practicing socialism. Now, did you die? And you a socialist? Damn, sucks for you.
People not by the content of their character, but by the color of their skin, their sex.
I hate that they reversed the Michael. Michael. Oh my god. I almost said Michael B. Jordan because I was thinking in my head about something else. I hate. That's a good one. That's a good fuck up. That's a moment. That's a fucking moment. I hate that they fuck up the Martin Luther King's speech and they flip it. They flip it all. It's reverse racism on the biggest degree for them. Judge people not on the content of their character, but by the color of their skin. I'm telling you that there are systems in place that do that already. That do that right now. That say that out loud and then do that on camera, and I'll be looking at it like, what? Like, bro. Brody. Oh, y'all know him? Oh, damn. Sucks to be him. Brody.
Sex and their sexual orientation. And it demands that we do so in perpetuity. It rejects the principle of what James Madison once called equal rights under equal laws. And it instead demands that we build
equal rights under equal laws. Jim Crow. That was a United States phenomenon. Fuck you. You created that out of the absence of the Reconstruction Project that failed. Fuck you. You know that. Mr. Historian at Hillside College, you know that. That's a simple fact. That's a simple fact. America did not finish Reconstruction and instead allowed the states to have their own sovereignty as to how they were going to rebuild back. So some places just re-encoded, well, if slaves are free, I don't want them here because why should I give them a fair shot? All they did was just work the land. They ain't worth nothing. Like, come on. You know this.
A modern caste system
Oh.
that privileges some groups over others in our laws and culture. Identity politics is not answering the question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. Its primary although it does have an answer, is not answering the question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. Question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. That privileges in our laws and politics is identity politics is not answering the question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. Identity politics is not answering the question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. Its primary focus, rather, is the much deeper question of, why is there evil in the world? And
You ever just be in a fight with somebody and just, yo, either you did it or they did it just out of nowhere. You just hear smack. And you like, oh, like you get hit. Oh, what was that? Oh, he hit different. Oh, he hit different. He hit different. He hit different. Oh, he hit different.
Socialism. Now did you die?
That's how much that whiplash of what he just said, just like, oh, he hit different. This different pain. This pain different.
Deeper question of why is there evil in the world?
No. Identity politics does not serve to single out the wrong people. Identity politics is a tribe-minded, simplistic reduction of complex issues to which everyone can have a bare understanding of where they belong within said space. And because spaces were not demanded out of institutions before, as the internet grew larger, more people designed a network, a framework of thought around, if I have access to everyone, who should I bond with? And because we have such a wide breadth of knowledge in front of us and the ability to connect with millions at a time, it is much easier to find spaces in which I am more valued. When I leave those spaces and go into other spaces and recognize the disrespect that I receive, I do not wish to be in those spaces any longer, which therefore enhances the tribe-minded like behavior. But it is not the fault of young people. It is the fault of boomers for being and politicians it's a lack of connect between what world we live in now and the world in which those who now have the money exceeded it. The difference in those two worlds is massive, and we still have people trying to cling on to the old way of being successful and trying to make a living, when we need to be addressing the fact that there are much more people on this earth. There's a new generation coming through. It's happening, and we need to be able to make the world more affordable and more accessible to everyone, so that way we can have a breath of a new birth of a intelligent, forward-thinking, critically, like, we need problem solvers. And we have that, but we won't even nurture that because we're still stuck in discussing this. Bars. Write that down on a shirt. Hydrate, heard you.
An unambiguous answer. Because of straight white men. Identity politics.
I told you, and I was right. And I was fucking right. And I was fucking right.
Takes an unambiguous answer. Because of straight white men. Identity politics.
Because you say identity politics belongs to black people, see? Because Asians are deemed, and we just watched something on this too, that's crazy. Asians are deemed the good minority, the smart minority. Like, in movies all the time, we made the fucking joke about the nerdy Asian kid. Hey, brother, let me get your homework real quick. Pick on him a little. You know what? I'm gonna say something so out of context, and this is just in the sake of the argument I'm trying to make. I really wish I would have saw like an Asian school shooter, like, cause like that always made like the way, especially my school. Oh my God, you want to talk about identity politics being bullshit? The way my school segregated the Asian population in there, because of a refusal to connect beyond anything beyond the dumbass jokes that they read on the fucking internet. Refusing at all to ever have celebrations for their culture. Refusing to ever, like, acknowledge them, like, pronounce their names correctly. You know, I used to wonder why they was always cool with me. It was because I was a fucking cool kid or I was a poser or anything. So I took the time to learn their fucking names. Try to have conversation. Oh, y'all talking about this and I don't understand a damn thing. Well, could you help me? Like, could you help me understand? Hell yeah, we'll talk to you about it, bro. Welcoming me with more grace and like, they didn't have to do that shit. The school was treating them like shit. Oh, they're the Asian kids. They're gonna get high grades. Let me cheat on your test. Like, no wonder they felt so alienated. Had to sit at every school had this. I know, so shut the fuck up. But like, every school had that fucking Asian table, and nobody could figure out why that was. And this is what I was talking about earlier in like growing up black and poor. Like, just the other side of it. You want to talk about identity politics, bro? We feed that through the high school like ideology chamber. That's why boys think it's cool to fuck 20 bitches and get money. Oh, really? Oh shit. Okay, and to be fair, and I'm not making this this is a serious point. I'm gonna be very serious. To be fair, I don't study those topics. Like, I think I know like the perpetrators of a few, but like I was never a true crime like person, so like I never knew. So wow. Like wow. There's the answer for that. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Wow. And then I gotta think about just okay, that was one of the worst. Oh my God. Why do you think it's straight white men? Because a straight white man is sitting here telling me this shit. Oh my God. The rest of us will blow you up and make drugs. Felt that. That's just such a fucked up thing to say. Like, that identity politics is wrapped around the identity of the big bad boogeyman, the straight white male. Oh God. Okay, you want to go a little deeper? Do you want to know why this stresses me out so much? I don't know who's watching right now. I don't know when this is going to be seen, but the straight white male allegory is not about any man on this earth. It is about Jesus Christ. That is what that argument is on a deeper level. Every time you hear that the straight white man is the problem, it is why evangelicals have so much power in this nation. Because they are also proclaimed, even though they be, you know, doing the thing with the choir boys. Even they are straight white men prophesizing about the biggest straight white male of them all. Like, if you don't like straight white men, you don't like Jesus. See? Jesus wasn't gay, like type shit they be on. Like, and it sucks because we read the comments and it's like, I would love to go to this college, and it's like, fuck, bro. Fuck.
Takes and modifies the Christian teaching on sin. It now no longer applies to everyone, but only to the...
Am I like making this shit up? Predict Champ Andy, am I making this shit up? What are you seeing on the screen right now?
Oppressor groups. But here's the more important modification. It offers no hope of salvation or of redemption from sin. Equal group
Identity politics leads you on a road to not having any salvation from sin? Are you saying there are no progressive Christians?
outcomes are now the measure of equal opportunities between groups. And under this logic, all disparities can only have one explanation: discrimination. All disparities are blamed on discrimination, and anyone who suggests otherwise is immediately called a sexist and a racist in order to silence dissent and
Can you find one bit of flaw in that logic? I can. While I think about it, I'd like you to think about what you might have just heard, and perhaps if there's a indiscriminate issue with the matter at hand. I don't know. Perhaps the things that were accepted in society as not racist, not sexist, not bigoted, because it was a world ruled by the white man, have now been deemed these things because it's easily recognizable as a microaggression, leading you to say something or do something even worse, perhaps harm and or kill me. So I will simply give you the judgment left in the book, therefore not having to deal with the rest of your racist, sexist, bigoted trials and tribulations. You shout out these things and expect me to listen. Wow, you think my dress is nice and you'd love to see what's under it. Amazing. Why don't you just, come and rape me, because that's what you're gonna fucking do. You see what I mean? Identity politics makes you point things out that you're overblowing. Bro, it's a joke. For all women, do the thing. Every time. I do the thing. Just do it. Do the thing. Whenever a man makes any type of weird sexual comment to you, Explain that for me. I don't get it. It's a joke. Could you explain it to me so I could laugh too? Yo, men, bro. Men!
Stimmy acquiring. And here, of course, ultimately is the great paradox of this focus on group results. It requires discrimination in order, it says, to eliminate discrimination.
Oh my God.
If you focus on results, this will inevitably lead you to deny positions to some people on the basis of their skin color, their race, their ethnicity, their sex, their sexual orientation, you name it.
In other words, they're going to say it's affirmative action on steroids. So white men won't get all the spots they deserve because they have to fill some type of quota. I hate it here so much.
The main reason that identity politics exerts such a powerful pull in America is because it suggests that we can either embrace identity politics or remain callously indifferent to the well-being of fellow Americans who happen not to look like us.
Why would you take the other side on that? Why would you propose that as your argument and then take the other side on that?
This, in truth, is a false choice. Identity politics should be rejected not because it demands justice for those who have been unjustly treated, but because it poses a threat to Republican self-government by corroding
because it makes the Republicans look bad. You make more money than me. You sitting in a church with a well-produced video, and you just said that dumb shit.
for those who have been unjustly treated, but because it poses a threat to Republican self-government by corroding patriotic ties and demanding special treatment rather than equality under the law.
Hillsdale College is an independent institution of higher learning founded in 1844 by men and women grateful to God for the inestimable blessings resulting from civil and religious liberty, and believing that the diffusion of learning is essential to perpetuity of these blessings. It pursues the stated object of the founders to furnish all persons who wish, irrespective of nation, color, or sex, a literary, scientific, and theological education. He's weird. That's weird. He's a weirdo.